If you're training for high rocks, the rower is not gonna be where you win the race, but it can be where you lose it. In this video, we're gonna go over the 4 key components of rowing: order, timing, power, and pacing. Optimizing these 4 components is going to be how you make the most out of your rowing station come race day. Now, before we get to all of that, we need to make sure that we get set up on the rower properly. Now, a common mistake that a lot of people in high rocks make is setting their damper on the rower to too high of a setting. You have to remember, in high rocks, we're only doing a 1,000-meter row, but that is still an endurance distance in the context of the entire race. So the higher damper setting that we have, typically the more challenging and the more taxing those longer distances are going to be. So typically what I recommend is somewhere in the neighborhood of a damper setting of 4 to 6 for men and about 3 to 5 for women. That generally is a good place to fall, but it does take a little bit of practice to find out what's gonna be most efficient for you. And I recommend doing some practice sessions of a 1K row in order to see which damper setting is gonna be more efficient for you. Now, once we get our damper set, we wanna make sure that our foot plates are also in the right position. How I like to view this is making sure that when I slide my feet into the plates, that the straps of the rower fall on the bottom shoelace of my shoe. This will be a good foot position to make sure that I'm comfortable, but also that I maximize my efficiency and my power with every single stroke. Now, let's get into order, timing, power, and pacing. What is order? Order is essentially your form with rowing. Now, what we want to do when we row is really think about rowing as being 3 separate movements. It's our legs, it's our torso, and it's our arms. So I'm going to start in the catch position of the row. That's with my knees bent, my chest up tall, and my arms extended out in front of me. The first part of the order is a big leg drive back. That's step 1. Step 2 is going to be a tip of the torso. So I'm going to lean back from about 10 o'clock to about 2 o'clock on my positioning. And step 3 is I'm going to pull the handles into my torso, hitting between the belly button and where the bra line is, or if you're a dude, where your bro line is. On the way back, we reverse the order completely. Handles and arms will go forward first, then torso, and then legs. So when we put it all together, it's legs, torso, arms, then arms, torso, legs. This is really key here because the number one thing that I see high rocks athletes get wrong in their row is their order on the recover of the row. So they will do the legs, torso, and arms portion just fine, but on the recover, they will bend their legs too early, forcing them to then have to hop the handles over the knees. So a super common mistake is that early knee bend leading to this handle hop, and then you're creating this roller coaster type row, which is really inefficient. Now, on to the timing. Every single row stroke that we have is gonna be a 1 count explosive drive back and a 2 count recover forward. So it looks like this. I'm gonna go power back, patience, patience forward. Power, patience, patience. Power, patience, patience. So that's the timing of the row. Again, a 1 count explosive drive back and a patience, patience count forward. Moving on to power. Where does our power come from in the row? We want to think about, again, the legs, the torso, and the arms. Generating 60% of that drive from the leg, 20% from the torso, and 20% from the arms. So if we're rowing properly, most of the power from every stroke is going to come from that leg drive back, and then the torso and arms is the follow through. So again, 60% from the legs, 20 from the torso, and 20 from the arms. Now finally, we're gonna get into pacing. During your high rocks race, How do you know if you are pushing too hard on the row or if you're not pushing hard enough in order to maximize your time? Well, one of the best ways that you can know what your row pace should be comes down to your time and your pacing for a 2K time trial. So if you've never done a 2,000 meter row time trial, I recommend that you set some time in your training to practice that event. Do a 2,000 meter row, see what your 500 meter split time is from that 2K, and that 500 meter split time should roughly be what you're aiming to produce come race day. So even though it's half the distance during race day, you're only doing 1,000 meters instead of 2, with the added 7 other stations and all of the running that you have to do, that 2K 500 meter split time is a really good estimate for where you should be shooting for in your 1,000 meter row during your High Rocks race. So as you're training for your next High Rocks race, I want you to remember OTPP: order, timing, power, and pacing. If you can think about those 4 things, you're gonna be well on your way to crushing your next High Rocks.